Yo, welcome to Music as a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean, and it's brought to you by the Concert app. Today, what we're going to talk about is gatekeeping, something I really hate. Gatekeeping, we always hear about it in the music business. I actually separate it into two different forms of gatekeeping because it just ain't regular gatekeeping. I call industry gatekeeping, and I call local gatekeeping. And I'm going to kind of go over both sides of gatekeeping, and I guess I'll give you some tips on how to work around gatekeeping, because that's kind of like what I built my career off of. I guess you could kind of say is I was able to move around the gatekeeping that I needed to move around to make things happen. A lot of artists face this because gatekeeping starts from the point of people believing that they're the ones that can kind of dictate what's popping. And if the reality of it is if you could really dictate what's popping, you could make it happen a million times in a row if you really could. You just got lucky. You got in a space. You just a little bit better off than maybe somebody else guessing at what's a hit or something like that. And then you got into a space and then you get paid for it. So now you want to gatekeep, which takes it away from the actual talent and makes the industry more of a situation where it's kind of based off who you know versus the skill or even the ability to grind or anything like that. Now, let's start with, I guess you can kind of say, like, let's start with industry gatekeeping. And now this comes down to even what's like going on with, I guess you can say, the whole situation with Drake, UMG, all that stuff like that. Like, this is all based off kind of gatekeeping, is the controlling of Spotify and now going into business with Spotify, supposedly, to cover up some things. But hey, allegedly, either way, they what they do is if you control how the streams, or you even put payola on it, basically what this allows is for whoever has the biggest pockets can control the game. So then this allows you to gatekeep who actually should be getting the listens, because you're able to mess with the algorithm. Inside that understanding, this happens all the time because they try to say payola isn't in radio, but it is, from the gist of that you can pay somebody that knows this person, or you can do this for this person and they'll get you on the radio. And a lot of people don't talk like that, but hey, that's what happens is you know this person, they pay this person, and then they get you on the radio, and that relationship helps them. So the relationship actually helps. It isn't a direct payment. Some places do direct payment, but a lot of these things is I know this person, I pay this person helps that person, and that person ends up getting you on the radio or getting you on playlist and everything like that. And that gatekeeping is very hard to get around because it's based off of kind of like pockets and who's like feeding people's pockets. And it happens all the time. So when I see people talk about like, they have a song that's going to be a hit, it's hard to believe, because what's happening is when you're paying when people can come out and just tell you $250,000 for a hit or $500,000 for a hit, that tells you that this is all like gatekeeping. Like, it's basically saying that you're going to pay this person and this person to get the level of promotion. But see, all they say to you is, hey, it's advertisement. Like, we're paying this person for the advertisement stuff. No, you're lacing this person's pockets, because as long as you keep the funnel working with the same people, then it works. So a lot of it, and then some of it doesn't work. Even if you had the money, they let you run it, and then they just say, oh, it didn't work. The people didn't like the song the way you thought they liked the song, So all that gatekeeping that happens at that level, the gatekeeping that even I guess you can kind of say bothered me the most in my career was local gatekeeping, because even when you get to the point where you get to the national gatekeeping, it becomes a money game. And however, with my career, I was able to make money without going to the industry. I just knew how to make money and make this my day job, and that's all I really wanted. I never really cared for the rest, because the only reason I got into the game was because my brother passed away, and he used to like to rap as kind of like a hobby. And so I just took it on, and people were like, can you rap like your brother? And so I went forward and did that. With the idea of the local gatekeeping, this is where it gets even worse, because they're trying to mimic the big gatekeeping, but it isn't about money. It's about who they like and stuff like this. And I always tell people, because they get caught up in the media, you see these like local media situations and stuff like that, and they start saying who's the best and everything like that, and they actually mess it up for a lot of people, because they try to gatekeep. And this is where I was able to move very good with this. Was a company like, let's say a local magazine or a local blog or a local, influencer type situation would say that. They would actually say like, hey, this kid's the best out here. Now, if I'm not cool with them, they're of course not going to say I'm the best. And see, this knocked the validity of a lot of companies in the past too, because even in the national levels, you watch companies I'd say like there was a magazine that a lot of people know of, and they wouldn't put Eminem in it. They wouldn't put 50 Cent in it. And when they're doing the numbers they're doing, if you don't want to acknowledge that, it knocks your credibility. So what would happen was in my city, there would be tons of different magazines and different blogs and everything like that. And I'm doing numbers. Yet they're not acknowledging this. They're acknowledging like these random kids and stuff like that, and kids they like. And I'm like, this should knock their credibility because these are all opinionated. So this gatekeeping that you're trying to do, you're trying to make it so it goes one way. So all the shows go to this kid and everything like that because you're announcing this kid as the one that's going. So what I would do was every time that kid would book a show, I'd book a show. And when the numbers showed, this would make the promoters only want to book me, because I'm going to do more numbers. Now, if this kid does numbers good too, then I'm going to do it more times. So then I have to do it two to three times this year or 4 times this year when they only did it 1 time this year. So I'm basically playing a way of being like, you can say that and see, you can say that this kid's the best, but I'm going to do the numbers that show I'm the best, that people want to come see me. Because I always tell people, you're dope when you know people will spend money to come see you. It don't matter at the end of the day. If everybody say you the best, you can't feed your family off that. So basically, I would maneuver around that gatekeeping because they can say what they want to say. But then if I'm doing numbers that's different, then now I'm going to take all the shows. And you don't look as valid anymore because you're saying this and not acknowledging me. And then what would happen to that artist, which this sucks for the artist, is that because they either won't sell tickets or won't do numbers, they end up losing all their opportunity because now they have to keep up with me. And see, I would even go as far as going at the gatekeeper, because if the gatekeeper had sponsors, like if they're a magazine, radio, anything like that, if they have sponsors, I'm going after their sponsors. Because basically I'm going to go to their sponsors and I'm going to say, hey, I have this many people that'll come to 1,000 people that'll come to this venue tonight, or 500 people that come to this venue every time I go out and everything like that. And I just need a sponsor who wants to talk directly to these people. I'm the total opposite of this company or this type of media, because they clearly don't talk to my fan base, because you see they didn't put me in it. And then I was able to take those gatekeeping situations and take those sponsors and get those sponsors to cover my situation. And that's kind of like how you can get back at some of these gatekeepers, because they want to talk all that, like they pick who they want to ride with, like they just don't tell the truth. But that's one reason why I built Concert, because I'm not picking who's dope. I'm basing this fully on an algorithm of people who want to see you. I could care less, because I can't say who's dope. Who am I to say who's dope? I listen to the radio right now. I can hear like 10 people I think it's trash, but they clearly are doing something. You know what I'm saying? So then I don't make that decision. I don't try to be like, yo, I'm the one who knows how to. I'm letting you make that decision by how many people want to come see you. And if a bunch of people want to come see you, then that's who gets to do what they do. If you're talented, you can come in and then you can get in front of tons of people and you'll steal them. If you got it like that. That's what we used to do when we were moving around. You get in front of another person's audience, and just like that, if you that good. But as I said, people try to gatekeep. They try to gatekeep shows. They give the shows to their friends, and when the shows flop, and then they don't give them to the kids that are actually trying to grind and everything like that. If you're trying to grind, use Concert. Real easy, get you on shows. And so I always tell people, you got to circumvent the gatekeeping, because it's tons of it. And they try to act like it's down now, like, oh, well, you have platforms. Well, you guys control the platforms. So if you're controlling the algorithm and the platform, that means you're gatekeeping. Like, they try to act like, oh, it's not the same type of gatekeeper. No, it is, because you own the platforms, you control the platforms. However, if people know how to go get fan base, see, the one thing they don't teach you is go get fan bases. They teach you just to make this music and try to get streams popping. The idea of just going towards streams is gatekeeping, because you're basically giving all these kids the idea that they can pop through getting streams while you control that algorithm. And you don't say, hey, go get your own fan base and everything like that. You don't really build people up to show people how to do that, to get consumers as their own business. Because you know, if they become too many people become independent and they don't need you, then that makes that fall. That makes that whole system fall, because then these kids will be out here being able to control themselves. They're using concert and they're getting shows themselves. They're figuring out how to build a fan base. They're figuring out how to tour through concert and everything like that. And they're doing their own thing. So definitely figure out how to circumvent the gatekeeping. I don't like any of the gatekeeping. Like, none of it. Not one bit. I used to be sitting there, man, if you don't hang with him and hang with this dude, and you got to know this dude. I don't want to hang with none of y'all. I want to make music. I want to do what I do, and I want to have fun with the homies I got, and then make the music I want to make the video I want to make. I don't want to make it the way you want to make it. People come see me. That's what matters. Hey, so that's how I feel about gatekeeping. Once again, this Music is a Day Job. I'm your host, Sean. It's brought to you by the Concert app. The Concert app is an artist accelerator app that takes artists from opener to headliner to on tour and gives the fan the best experience in independent live music. Now, we are in tons of different cities right now, so definitely get on the app right now if you're an artist and you just click and be like, I want to be on the show. And that's how we do. We send the details, and then if you agree to those details, then you get on the show. If you're a fan, start getting on there, start supporting these independent artists. Support independent. You already know what time it is. If you know any venues, let us know, because that helps us get to those areas. If we're not in your area, then tell everybody to download it. And we can see the demand and we can get there. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Sean. This Music is a Day Job.